Hey people, get ready to crush everyday IELTS and CELPIP tests for all modules and make your dreams come true. I'm your motivator and I'll be guiding you through the test prep videos. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or you'll be missing out on some serious preparation.
Your friend wants to improve their English as fast as possible after moving to Canada. What advice do you give them? Give specific suggestions and explain why they will help. Begin speaking now.
The best way to improve your English quickly in Canada is to practice every day. Try talking to neighbors and coworkers as much as possible. Watch Canadian TV shows and listen to the radio. You can also join a free ESL class at your local library or community center. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, that is how you learn. Reading English newspapers is helpful too. Just keep practicing and you will improve fast.
If you want to improve your English quickly in Canada, I'd recommend a combination of formal and informal learning. First, enroll in an ESL program at a community college or settlement agency. Many are free for newcomers. Outside of class, make a conscious effort to speak English in everyday situations, whether at the grocery store, workplace, or with neighbors. Watching Canadian news programs and listening to CBC radio are excellent ways to build vocabulary and improve your listening skills. Most importantly, don't avoid difficult conversations. The more you push yourself outside your comfort zone, the faster you'll progress.
Improving English rapidly in Canada requires a strategic, multi-layered approach. Formally, I would strongly encourage you to register with a government-funded program such as LINK, Language Instruction for Newcomers to Canada, which offers free, structured instruction tailored specifically to immigrants. However, classroom learning alone is rarely sufficient. You need to immerse yourself in authentic Canadian English daily, engage in conversations with colleagues and neighbors, volunteer in your community, and consume Canadian media, from CBC News to popular podcasts, to familiarize yourself with regional accents, idioms, and cultural references. Keeping a vocabulary journal, setting daily speaking goals, and recording yourself to monitor progress are highly effective self-study strategies. Above all, embrace every opportunity to communicate, even when it feels uncomfortable, because consistent real-world practice is ultimately the fastest path to fluency.
Your colleague is resistant to your advice about improving their English in Canada. They feel it is unnecessary and push back every time you raise it. How do you address them and try to persuade them to reconsider? Begin speaking now.
I understand you feel comfortable right now, but English is very important for your job and daily life here in Canada. I know it is hard and takes time. But even small steps, like watching English TV or talking to one neighbor, can help a lot. You don't have to change everything at once. Please just try a little bit each day. I really think you will feel much more confident and have better opportunities if you do.
I hear what you're saying, and I do understand that changing your daily habits is challenging, especially when you're already busy adjusting to life in Canada. But consider this, without stronger English skills, it becomes much harder to advance at work or fully participate in your community. You don't have to do everything at once. What if you started with just one small change this week, like listening to an English podcast during your commute? That's manageable, right? I genuinely believe that once you start noticing small improvements, you'll feel more motivated to keep going.
I genuinely respect your perspective, and I want you to know that I'm not dismissing the very real difficulties that come with language learning as an adult. However, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't address the long-term consequences of avoiding English improvement. Research consistently shows that language proficiency is one of the most significant determinants of economic integration and social well-being for newcomers in Canada. I'm not asking you to abandon your culture or mother tongue. Bilingualism is, in fact, a tremendous asset. What I am suggesting is that investing even 30 minutes daily in intentional English practice, whether through conversation groups, language exchange apps, or simply engaging more deeply at work, will yield meaningful results over time. Would you be open to just exploring one option together?
Describe what you see in this Canadian neighborhood street market scene. Include details about the people, the setting, the products, and the overall atmosphere. Begin speaking now.
In this picture, I can see a busy street market. There are many colorful stalls with fruits, vegetables, and homemade foods. Several vendors are standing behind their tables and talking to customers. Some shoppers are carrying reusable bags and looking at the products carefully. In the background, there are trees and older brick buildings. The weather looks warm and sunny. It looks like a Saturday morning farmer's market in a Canadian neighborhood. Everyone looks happy and relaxed.
The image shows a vibrant neighborhood street market on what appears to be a sunny summer morning. Rows of colorful vendor stalls line both sides of a pedestrian street, offering fresh produce, artisan bread, local honey, and handcrafted goods. Vendors are actively engaging with customers, some demonstrating their products. Shoppers of diverse backgrounds browse leisurely, many carrying reusable cloth bags. A few people are seated nearby, enjoying coffee or snacks. Large leafy trees provide shade along the pathway, and the surrounding brick storefronts suggest this is a well-established urban neighborhood, perhaps in Toronto or Ottawa's Glebe district.
This scene depicts a lively, multicultural neighborhood street market that captures the essence of community life in urban Canada. In the foreground, a vendor, perhaps in her 50s, is animatedly describing her homemade preserves to a young couple, who lean in with evident interest. Adjacent stalls overflow with seasonal produce, heirloom tomatoes, fresh herbs, and locally grown corn, suggesting this is a midsummer market. To the left, a child tugs at her father's sleeve, pointing excitedly toward a colorful macaron display. The atmosphere is relaxed yet buzzing with energy. Conversations overlap in multiple languages, reflecting Canada's diverse urban fabric. Dappled sunlight filters through mature oak trees overhead, casting warm light across the brick-paved walkway. Overall, the scene conveys a powerful sense of belonging, local pride, and vibrant community connection.
What do you predict will happen to fuel stations and car mechanics in Canada as electric vehicles become more common? Give specific predictions and explain the reasons behind them. Begin speaking now.
I think electric vehicles will change a lot of things in Canada. Many gas stations will probably close because fewer people will need gasoline. Some stations might start selling electricity instead. Auto mechanics will also need to learn new skills because electric cars have different parts than regular cars. There will be fewer oil changes and engine repairs. However, I think new jobs will come too, like EV technicians. It will take some time, but Canada needs to start preparing now.
The widespread adoption of electric vehicles will significantly reshape Canada's fuel and automotive service industries over the coming decades. As EV ownership grows, demand for gasoline will decline steadily, forcing many traditional fuel stations to either diversify by installing fast-charging infrastructure or close entirely. The automotive repair sector will face equally dramatic shifts, since EVs have far fewer moving parts. Routine services like oil changes and transmission repairs will become largely obsolete. Mechanics will need retraining in battery technology, software diagnostics, and electrical systems. On the positive side, this transition will generate new technical careers and fresh investment opportunities across Canada's evolving green economy.
The accelerating transition to electric vehicles in Canada is poised to fundamentally disrupt two long-standing industries, the fuel retail sector and the traditional automotive repair trade. Within the next 2 decades, I predict that a significant proportion of independent gas stations, particularly those in lower-traffic rural corridors, will become financially unviable as gasoline demand contracts. Those that survive will likely pivot toward EV fast-charging hubs, convenience retail, or fleet service centers. The implications for the mechanical trades are equally profound. The EV drivetrain's relative mechanical simplicity will dramatically reduce demand for conventional services, oil changes, exhaust repairs, and timing belt replacements, while simultaneously creating urgent demand for technicians trained in high-voltage battery systems, thermal management, and over-the-air software diagnostics. Proactive federal retraining investments and industry-led apprenticeship reforms will be critical to managing this transition equitably across all regions of Canada.
Compare the 2 job offers and persuade your family member which one to accept. Give clear reasons to support your recommendation. Begin speaking now.
I think you should take the government job in Ottawa. It has better benefits, job security, and a pension plan. The tech startup pays more, but it is risky and could shut down. You have a family to support, so stability is very important. The government position also offers good work-life balance and paid vacation. I know the startup sounds exciting, but the safe choice is better for your future. Please consider the government job.
I strongly recommend you take the government position in Ottawa rather than the Vancouver startup. While the startup offers a higher salary, the risks far outweigh the benefits. Government jobs in Canada come with excellent health benefits, a defined pension plan, and long-term job security, things that truly matter when planning your future. The startup could be exciting, but companies like that often fail within the first few years. You deserve financial stability and peace of mind. Trust me on this, the government role is the smarter, safer, and more rewarding choice for you and your family.
I have looked carefully at both offers, and I genuinely believe the federal government position in Ottawa is the right choice for you. While the Vancouver tech startup offers an appealing salary and a dynamic work environment, it carries significant financial uncertainty. Startups in Canada have a notably high failure rate, and without stable income, your mortgage and family expenses could quickly become unmanageable. The government role, by contrast, provides a comprehensive benefits package, a defined benefit pension, and exceptional job security, all of which support long-term financial wellness. Furthermore, federal positions typically include structured professional development and a clear path for promotion. I understand that change feels exciting, but your family's security must come first. Please choose the government job, you will not regret it.
What do you do and say to address this situation? Describe your actions both during and after the meeting. Begin speaking now.
This is a hard situation, but I need to speak up. I would wait until after the meeting and then talk to Alex privately. I would say, Alex, I noticed you presented my idea as yours. I worked hard on that campaign and I need to get credit for it. Please tell our manager the truth, or I will have to speak with them myself. I want to fix this without causing big problems at work.
I would handle this calmly but firmly. During the meeting, I would politely interject and say, I want to add some context. I developed this campaign concept last week, and I am glad Alex is sharing it with the team. This gives Alex a chance to acknowledge my contribution without direct confrontation. Afterward, I would speak with Alex privately and make it clear that this cannot happen again. If Alex refused to correct the record, I would document the situation and escalate it to my manager or HR to protect my professional reputation.
Navigating this situation requires both professionalism and assertiveness. In the moment, I would subtly reclaim ownership by interjecting, I am pleased we are discussing this, it is a concept I developed last Tuesday, and I am happy to walk the team through my full rationale. This publicly re-establishes my contribution without creating unnecessary tension. Following the meeting, I would have a direct private conversation with Alex, expressing clearly that taking credit for my work is unacceptable and damaging to our professional relationship. I would give Alex one opportunity to voluntarily correct the record with our manager. Should that behavior continue, I would escalate the matter to HR, presenting email records and draft documents as supporting evidence. Protecting one's professional reputation in any Canadian workplace is both a right and a responsibility.
What is your opinion on whether post-secondary education in Canada should be free? Give reasons and examples to support your view. Begin speaking now.
I think post-secondary education in Canada should be free, or at least much cheaper. Many students leave university with very large debts, which makes it hard to start their lives. If education were free, more people could go to college and get better jobs. Countries like Germany offer free university and it works well. The government should invest in students because educated people help the whole country grow and succeed.
In my opinion, post-secondary education in Canada should be significantly subsidized, if not entirely free. The current cost of tuition places a heavy financial burden on students and their families, often forcing young Canadians to carry decades of debt before their careers even begin. Free education would increase access for people from lower-income backgrounds and Indigenous communities, helping to close persistent social and economic gaps. Several European countries have successfully implemented this model. While funding it requires thoughtful tax policy, the long-term social and economic benefits to Canada would clearly outweigh the costs.
I firmly believe that post-secondary education in Canada should be made substantially more accessible, ideally through a tuition-free model funded by progressive taxation. The current system disproportionately disadvantages students from low-income, racialized, and Indigenous backgrounds, entrenching cycles of poverty and inequality that undermine Canada's social fabric. When talented individuals are deterred by financial barriers, the country loses valuable human capital that could otherwise drive innovation, healthcare, and public service. Critics argue that free education would strain public budgets. However, evidence from Norway and Finland demonstrates that a highly educated workforce generates significant tax revenue and reduces long-term reliance on social services. Canada already commits substantial resources to K-12 education. Extending that commitment to the post-secondary level is a logical, equitable, and economically sound step toward building a stronger, more inclusive nation.
Describe what you witness and experience as this unusual event unfolds in your neighborhood. Include details about what you see, hear, and feel. Begin speaking now.
I stepped outside on Saturday morning and could not believe what I saw. There were cameras, lights, and many people all over my street. My neighbor told me a very famous Canadian singer was filming a music video right here in Mississauga. I saw the singer walking toward the cameras and everyone started cheering loudly. It was so exciting and completely unbelievable. I quickly took many photos to send to my family and friends.
It began as an ordinary Saturday morning in Mississauga, but the moment I opened my front door I knew something extraordinary was happening. The entire block was buzzing with energy, film crews had set up massive lights and cameras, and a growing crowd of neighbors lined the sidewalk. Within minutes, I recognized a world-famous Canadian musician stepping out of a sleek black SUV, waving warmly at the excited crowd. Everyone cheered, phones were raised high, and the whole neighborhood felt electric. I could hardly believe this was unfolding right outside my home. It was genuinely one of the most memorable moments I have ever experienced.
What began as a perfectly unremarkable Saturday morning in my Mississauga neighborhood swiftly transformed into something I could never have anticipated. As I stepped onto my porch with my morning coffee, I was immediately struck by the sheer scale of activity before me. Trailers, lighting rigs, camera cranes, and a substantial production crew had seemingly taken over the entire street overnight. Curious and slightly disoriented, I made my way toward the growing crowd of neighbors when a ripple of gasps and spontaneous cheering announced the arrival of a globally recognized Canadian musician, who emerged from a sleek vehicle with a confident, gracious presence. The atmosphere was utterly surreal. My quiet suburban street had been transformed into a full-scale professional film set. Neighbors embraced strangers, laughter filled the summer air, and for one brief, magical moment, our entire community felt united by a shared sense of astonishment and joy.
Hey people, how was your test? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or you'll be missing out on some serious fun. See you tomorrow!